hacky sack on 33rd Street. Rotation and flotation of the bile imitates and also helps create the experience of playing with capital that only the residents and prisoners of New York City are privy to. It's a strong centrifugal force which can cripple, coast, injure, and make one feel nothing but pure floating jouissance, the feeling of swimming, yet in the deep blue sky, not the sea. At the same time, it makes others feel stuck, trying to wade in the sewer, not bump into each other while the beautiful sculpted tand and elastic swim in the sky. The lip-burning hot crack stem is passed around long after the last of the resin has been burned, revealing the truly lowest ring of the circle of the money extrapolator. Above, endless rows of steel miles high and long, wind whisper whistling, droning through. Invariances combining into plasma-based intensities as urban grid vector. Clear layers of all the hues, contours, and fidelity piled upon infinitely, intersecting and combining, melting and morphing into the 2-eye, 2D screen viewed while in rest mode. Pause. Battery re-up, reality sleep. A young man is stopped and frisked on the corner of New Lots in Pennsylvania while two humans, spelled H-U-E-N-S, are directing a film on the next block. Takes place in 89, man. Those fellas filled the block with litter and burned out cars, and they funded half the projects down and paid them $20 each to do their thing. Looks real, huh? Below, slime vector vomits thick, static, toxic chemicals straight into the city water supply, which at this point is not much more than crushed, liquefied microchips. Downloaded through your bathroom sink at 320 kbps. Fluoridation, nothing but official electronic microchip waste manufactured by Google and Amazon conglomerates, bathed in daily by sub-street urchin albino vampiric city scum. The titanium rat king shits electric liquid in between the tracks, feeding the sub-humanoid living waste, re-vomited and flows back into aquifers as regurgitated stomach acid city slop, flowing as vector into the East fucking River into buckets filled and traded on Wall Street, backrooms and back alleys as pure digitrash. Capital. Trip, grip, trademark. In order to receive, process, and understand information, one must be informed. This is where Chip, grip, TM steps in. We sit in the back room sifting through these buckets of digi-waste, finding incomplete downloads, uploads, registration pages, sent but never fully loaded, credit, debit, card, information bills, all gelled together to create digi-xeroxes of a series of eyes constructed through the sleek cartoon of forced floating. All animation is traced by hundreds of artists' machines as soon as it is written, courtesy of us. Whoa! That's Zach Davis, though. Remember. Next up. The next story is written by John Olson. It's called 3 Phases in Saliva. You'll see here a different style of storytelling. And I suggest anyone who writes science fiction stories to send them to me. I will read them at some point somewhere in the world. 3 Phases in Saliva by John Olson. This is the worst episode of people failing at a non-decaying life. As stated before, this has to do with ours friends, the experimentalists, who go through periods of deep trial and error trying to fight against time and decay. This is an earlier example, like the pool episode, of a trial that never happened again, as you will see. Okay, I was called again by Richard. We'll call him Richard. Olson calls him R, but I find it annoying. Who we will call the Electrics. It was an uncommon night of summer rain. I got a message to meet the team at an old, empty house. They were holding court there. They wanted me to see their new experiment in action. It was a Wednesday night. I had that middle of the week feeling where if something good happens, you have good momentum coasting you into a powerful, eventful weekend. I was hoping for that, needing it to kick the doldrums, an already long start to my week. So I parked my car by an empty house and see the team of electrics, 5 of them in rubber industrial strength utility suits. They are bustling about, very excited. One of them grabs me and leads me to a room with a lone chair positioned carefully where I can see the stunt they want me to witness in action. I plant myself down and the area is suddenly quiet except the rain and the occasional speeding cars on the nearly empty street. They position me so my eyeline view is directly out to the top of a utility pole. The team scaled up the old, craggy, wet wooden pole and carefully loosened and cut off the stinger leg of a 480-volt copper transformer tin. As I stated before in the pool situation, from my deep encryption days, flirting with death-type arrangements, I am numb to seeing humans in danger, and I wasn't startled by the insane maneuver they were getting ready to do in some arcane parquet style late into the rainy night. The team had 2 ladders set up to the transformer tin and were finished cutting the live line. I then realized what they were attempting. They arranged themselves in a series connection from the transformer tin into a tub of black fluid to get a buck equals bounce charge in reverse into the liquid, sending roughly 5,000 wild volts into each of the members. I sat up and looked. This was going to be wild. Within seconds, I heard the confident rustling sound of the lead team member giving the go-ahead, and they connected arms, and within a split millisecond, the entire block was filled with a rush of burying light, like a nuclear blast. The air turned rancid, and my senses were gone for a good minute, and all I could do was shield my eyes for protection. As the light went down and the heat subsided, I turned my head down to the ground and watched the team illumined and shaking in movements that were as grotesque as they were bizarre. Too fast for life and too slow for the time around them. They appeared to be in agony and exhilaration simultaneously. Then, as soon as they came to life, the dim rain had faded them, and they seemed to sink into the grass, vanishing. I was shocked, speechless, and alone in the empty gray house. Not knowing what to do and not wanting to be part of the project, I ran out and sat in my car, hands on my keys. After what seemed to be a year, I drove home unsteadily and walked back to my garage. A note was left for me, carefully placed in the center of my workbench that I used for spray painting. I eyed it carefully and picked it up. It was from the Team Electric leader. Dear John, if you are reading this, I can only conclude that our team has failed. But not entirely. You saw what could only be described as the electrics being burnt into a new reality against decay and against time. After the 5,000-volt blast, we lived in real time. No future, no present, no past. We blasted into an eternity within that period. You were the only one that saw it. Richard will now show you another attempt for the pool and liquid that was built later on. Do not tell anyone. No one knows you saw it. No going back now or no going forward. I put the paper down and stood in the garage for the remainder of an hour in deep, non-concentrated thought. I folded the paper in threes and went back into my house confused and shaking my head at this team and their utter denial of time. Now 5 members less. Whoa.